We are here with Tim Minard, who is the CEO of Eclipse Gaming Systems, which is an emerging company in our industry. And Tim, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I always appreciate spending time with you.
It's always fun to be with you. And give us a little overview on who Eclipse is and where you're going.
Well, I think you described it well. I mean, Eclipse is one of the few gaming providers that's focused on Class 2 primarily, right? So there's not a lot of us left. And we're a small, up-and-coming company that's had, enormous change over the last 4 or 5 years. We're just a small, humble little company that's, continually progressing in the Class 2 space. We've been around for, I want to say 14 years. So we've been around for a while. We just have always kind of been under the radar.
The Eilers-Fantini, that's me, survey.
Yeah.
Your name is popping up more and more frequently as a winner in those surveys. And you have limited resources and you compete against much bigger companies. So what's the secret sauce? We love it too. The secret sauce is the people we have. It really is. I mean, the people we have are really dedicated professionals like Laura Olson Rays and seasoned veterans like Sean Evans and all the people that we have. I think that's really what the culture of our business and the people we have are our primary advantages, but also the advantage of being smaller, and having a smaller infrastructure that we have to support. We can get intimate with our clients, and we deserve our little spot, if you will, on the floor, focused on mostly tribal customers. So I think that's an advantage to us. I mean, we have stayed really dedicated and focused to putting out really solid games and also trying to get closer and closer to that Class 3 style game in the Class 2 environment. Like, we have a team dedicated to doing those things. And because we're so tight, small, that we have the opportunity to do that, and we've been enjoying it. Are you going to stay in that Class 2 world?
No, we're not going to stay in the Class 2 world. But we feel like we've continually, I think we've had these conversations before, and I think at companies, there's always a timing for everything, and there's a timing. When you move into Class 3, it's a little different level, right? Different math, different things, and so we just want to make sure we're ultra prepared when we go in there, that we go in there with a successful plan. And we feel, I've been doing this a little over 4 years for Eclipse, and I can feel it. I can feel that we're getting ready, especially some of the tribal customers. We're on a lot of dual floors where they have Class 2 and Class 3, and we're seeing a lot of good success with the purposeful titles that we're doing. And that's an easy migration to, getting a little more footprint at some of these properties. So I would see this being a more relevant, situation in 2023 and the start of it there.
Moving into the Class 3 world.
Moving into the Class 3 world.
Class 2 and Class 3 games have so merged. I mean, it used to be when you walked into an Indian casino, it was obvious the difference between that and what you would see in a commercial casino. And today, they're just so darn close.
Yeah. I think I would think most of the big companies have a platform for Class 2. So you're seeing the same titles crossover. I think we've addressed this over the years just in terms of the pressure on, what a Class 2 game is and, how you, the things and the features you can bring to life through Class 2 now are much greater. Speed, because of, our system side. We've worked a lot on our platform. We redid our whole platform, and now with even graphics, right, coming about with different products like Unity and other things, it's given us the ability to give an experience that seems like a Class 3 experience. If you didn't have a bingo card on it, you wouldn't even know it's Class 2. And we spend a lot of time trying to make that experience feel like the same thing.
You compete against companies much larger and have a lot more resources than you do. I guess sort of a
two-part, maybe related question. One is, how do you compete against them successfully? What's your advantage? And secondly, when you walk onto a casino floor, is there a personality, is there a style that I can say, that's an Eclipse game over there?
Well, I think for sure there is a personality to our games. And just again, how we compete against the larger companies, we understand who we are. We're not a larger company. We don't go in there and act anything different than a humble company that we are. But we have really good people. I mean, some of these people worked at the big companies that, they're bringing that caliber to Eclipse. And we don't have a footprint so large that we have to put, so much pressure. We can get really intimate with our clients and try to do a purposeful series of titles for our bank size that we should deserve. And, so a lot of our discussions as a team and things like that, we can get intimate with each client. We're not trying to, boil the ocean. We're just focused in on the tribal customers that we have. We're in over 14 states now. And, really the level of service that we can provide to that client and really understand what their players are like, what their players are looking for, and then take the time to come back, and then, we don't have to do a library of games on a production line to fill our size and so forth in terms of the footprint we have. There's definitely a vibe to the games we have. We pay a lot of attention to the ride that the players like, specific to their geography. And that's, and so when you see a game, and right now we're coming out with, some of the games that we historically have had really success with, and bringing them to 2022, like graphics and things like that, but the math and the features that we brought back then, those players are loving them. And so we got this little Hall of Fame series that we call it, with bringing it up to speed to now. And what you'll see on our floor this week is you'll see that, this personality of us.
You mentioned that you talk to your tribal clients and you try to tailor games to their customers. Is there a difference? Does the player in the northern woods of Wisconsin expect something different from that player in Southern California?
Well, the answer is for sure. Depending on it, each casino, in my opinion, has the player profiles, if you will, or the kind of constituents that come to their casino. It's unique to them. And so you can have really good themes in a place in Wisconsin that are not going to play in Northern California. And typically it's because of the basis of the player, who's there, who's coming in, what do they like. I mean, you might have all gamuts of players everywhere, but the ones that come every day and play, that creates more of the profile. And that's what we're looking to do. We're not trying to do everything. We're not trying to grab every player. We're like, we are really good at this type of player. And if you have these types of players at your thing, we're a really good solution.
Locals oriented.
Yeah, locals oriented, and that's what also just the relationship. I mean, you'll hear a lot about us, and you'll see in our culture, if you visit our booth, you'll hear a lot about the culture of Eclipse. And it is a relationship, like really intimate kind of style. And so we want a lot of feedback from our customers so they can kind of teach us what that player profile looks like for their casino.
You mentioned the growth that you have, you're planning on. Do you have an image of where Eclipse will be, what Eclipse will look like, say, 3-4 years out?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to keep doing a lot of the same things we're doing, so there's no question we're going to be in a lot more states in this country. We will be in Class 3 in that world. We'll be a more full-service provider. We are, the thing about being small is you can also look at the outliers like HHR, and we've been looking at that even pre-pandemic, right? And so for us, we can, I want to make sure we're fulfilling what it is that we're out to do. But, those types of things may be included, but definitely we're still considering the, online. Online still, as we have continually success with our titles, some of these new family series of games that we're coming out with have a lot of relevance, both land-based and maybe internet. So 3-4 years, those things will be addressed, and whether or not they'll be implemented yet, I'm not positive, but I am positive that Class 3 will be in that future, in that time frame.
And conceptually, things like VLTs and HHR, historical horse racing, conceptually they are like brothers or in the same family as
Right.
Class 2.
Really is. And we're seeing, I mean, there's what we're seeing, and you mentioned VLT, we're real close to that market as well. We do have solutions in the VLT market, like in Maryland and some other places. As states continue to adopt new gaming kind of practices for their states, you know, we feel pretty prepared. And, you know, our VLT product has been out there for probably 9 years, and it's, you know, solid. So, you know, depending how that the world adopts and moves into some of these things, I mean, we're going to be ready for those types of things as well.
And in that future, as you finance your growth, would you consider going public at some point?
I don't see going public in this environment. It's almost like it's an afterthought. Like at some point in time, it might make sense, but not in the near future. It's not really what we've done. You know, Eclipse has really good partners, and it has, you know, we've been real successful over the last 4 years. I mean, you know, the need for that explosive capital or some type of liquidity event like that is not necessarily in my 4-year plan.
Right.
But I'm always like, we're always one hit away from that number. So it could be, you know, one of these new family series that we're going to show this week could be the thing, and we might be having a different conversation in a couple months from now. I don't know. I can always hope.
We're at G2E,
Yeah.
where everybody wants to see the newest and the best. What are one or two of the products visitors absolutely must see at your booth?
I mean, the Big Shake, it's near and dear to my heart. There's a lot of intellect behind that game. There's a lot of reasons why we think that game's going to play really well in the market. So the Big Shake series, which is our coin pusher series, we've been talking about it for a while, and we feel we've now launched. And super exciting game with so much anticipation, so many different features that, you know, people will, and it's Class 2, which is amazing.
Right.
That was, you know, a really good feat. And then we have our like TikTok series, which Jackpot series, which is, you know, we've done things in like family series of games. So we're kind of creating a little family in each time we do something. But that has seen a lot of success. That's a cascading kind of 8-line, 8x5 cascading, and we've seen a lot of great success with that game. And I think people will get a kick out of our Hall of Fame series, really. I mean, because we brought some of the old Eclipse when they were at G2E in 2010. You know, we brought some of those games back, but those have been the staples for our company. So those are kind of the three primary things I'm super excited about. A 49-inch platform, which is new to us as well. We had the 43, we had the trips and the dual screen 27s, but now we have a really nice looking 49-inch screen. So we're getting there.
Okay, well, that's been a really good overview, Tim. Anything else you would like folks to know about Eclipse?
Well, I think the Beyond the Game thing, it was highlighted in, you know, recently and so forth. That's a really big deal for us as well. So just the culture and the give back mentality that this company has, which I think creates the culture, the atmosphere of who Eclipse is. I hope people see that in the booth as well, because you feel the vibe there. That's really it. We really appreciate you having us on. I know we're the little guy, but I mean, we're like this boutique shop that really is, you know, continually to, you know, move up and grow, and we really appreciate you considering us in these things.
So we're glad to have you here, and as I said, your name is popping up now.
It's a good sign, I hope.
Yeah,
I think it's a good
absolutely.
thing. Yeah, it's awesome.
Great.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Frank.